So the whole prison's on lockdown now. Within 24 hours, I seen the aftermath of somebody that had been viciously assaulted, and I'm now experiencing my first lockdown. At least I had a decent cell partner, OG, that put me on, schooled me, let me know what was going on. By the time we got off lock, he had showed me how to fill out applications, request certain things, and I ended up getting a job pretty quick in the kitchen. What's good about getting a job in the kitchen if you're incarcerated is you get your paycheck, you can steal food to hustle, which is an additional stream of revenue, and you can eat for free, which saves money, saves on commissary. So for me, I always wanted to get in the kitchen once the OGs told me what it was at the jail that had already been down the road. I needed to make the moves that I needed to make quick so I could get things that I need, like a sweatsuit to chill in so I didn't have to wear the prison smock all the time, or TV so I could watch the news and be out of people's way. So I was grateful for that. When I was in the kitchen, man, I met this old white dude named Kentucky too, man. And Kentucky, he showed me how to, you know what I'm saying, hustle wine, make wine, hustle hooch or whatever. And I was lit. You know what I'm saying? I had a way to provide for me and mine. You know what I'm saying? I had a way, and when I say me and mine, my cell partner, like I could hustle. You know what I'm saying? Make sure he was straight. He had some commissary in the box because I would keep the wine in the cell while it was being cooked. And we was good. You know what I'm saying? I started to learn more about bidding or just doing time. Started to get into a little bit of a routine. I was able to identify more and more, people that I definitely didn't want to associate myself with. I met people like Big Shirley, he's a serial, fill in the rest. That's just chilling, watching ESPN, and says, "Hey, what's up, man?" You don't even know you're talking to a psychopath, by the way. And yeah, I'm just getting familiar with Sussex too. I'm thinking about right now as I'm talking about. I'm thinking about certain individuals that had reputations for bad stuff. Some stand-up guys I met there, which brings me to Brother Anthony because we were just talking about the kitchen, and this is all in the same timeline. Brother Anthony was the first brother I met in the kitchen. He trained me. He taught me how to work in the dish room, and I was actually going to be his replacement. He's getting ready to go home. I didn't know him for like super long, but he was one of those individuals I was just grateful. Like we just clicked up. Like he was just good dude, man. He had already been down for about 12 years, but he wasn't, too far removed from the streets, if that makes sense. Like he'd still get visits, be on the phone, all that. Brother Anthony was a happy soul, man. I'm not gonna say that people don't have their own demons or whatever, but he was a happy soul that used to like to uplift people and just see people motivated, etc. And when we were in the dish room, the last memory I have of him, we were in a dish room and we were rapping back and forth. We was rapping Chronic 2001, the song Explosive, and just vibing. And at the end of our shift, it was the last shift. He was getting ready to get moved down to 4 building. I was in 1 building, but 4 buildings were at the time they were moving everybody that was getting ready to go home. And I dapped him up. And I said, "Man, I'm so happy for you, bro. I'm glad you made it home, man. I can't wait till my time comes up." Mind you, I still had 16 years plus left on my sentence. So he was like, "Man, I'm gonna hit you up once I get out there. Blah blah. Don't worry about it." Boom. So, a couple days go by, nothing out normal, blue, whatever. I'm on the rec yard. He had told me to come out. You know what I'm saying? It was Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And I remember saying to bro or sending word back across the yard, like, "Man, tell him to stay in the pod, man. He tripping. Like, what you doing?" You know what I'm saying? And he had sent word. He's like, "Nah, he was trying to see certain brothers before he left." And we go out on the yard, and the way the yard is on Sussex too, each pod is in a separate cage, basically, or a separate yard, isolated, because you're really kept separate from anybody that's outside of your dorm for the most part at the time there. And let me tell you something: when you're down short on your sentence, when you're about to go home, you should not go out. into the yard. You shouldn't do any extra. You should be in your dorm or check in or nothing. Especially on a camp like that, because everybody does not want to see you go home. You understand what I'm saying? So, Brother Anthony, he said forget that. He must have wanted to go in the yard that day really, really bad and say bye to everybody. And while we were on the yard, he was, talking to different people through the gate, as they say, and shouting people out. Da, da, da. Next thing you know, he's like, hold on real quick. I'll be right back. Mind you, I'm in one fenced-in yard, then it's a boulevard, and it's another fenced-in yard that he's on. So we can't physically get to one another. Two of his homeboys are in the yard with me as well, and we're all on the fence just talking to each other, until he says, hold on. And we see him walk down the yard, and we see him arguing with somebody. And my homeboy is like, yo, what's up? Brother Anthony had people in the yard with him that he was cool with. But next thing we know, Brother Anthony was getting jumped and beat pretty badly. And not one of his people that was on that yard with him, they didn't say stop, they didn't yell, they didn't try to grab somebody, and so they didn't do nothing. And Brother Anthony was 2 days away from going home. It was Saturday. I got to say it again. He was about to go home, and it was Saturday. I don't know if you ever seen somebody get knocked out on their feet, but that's what happened to Brother Anthony. He was conscious but unconscious, and he was following around the individual, one of the individuals, and the individual turned around and said, stop following me. But Brother Anthony kept saying, man, why'd y'all jump me? Why'd y'all jump me? And, he's out of it. Anybody could have just stopped him, said, it's okay, you got it. But they didn't. The guy told Brother Anthony stop following him. He said it maybe once or twice more. This is, of course, what we're hearing from guys that are on the yard, because we couldn't hear it. We're just seeing the transaction between everybody. And the guy got fed up with Brother Anthony following him. He turned around. He hit him twice with a piece of fence in his chest. Brother Anthony took a knee, leaned against the fence. We started to scream. Hey, bro, you good? You all right? You straight? No answer. One of the brothers went down as he was running down there to get one of the guards to see he was all right. He didn't care. He didn't care if he was going to be looked at as a snake. He wanted to make sure Brother Anthony was good. Nobody in the yard was really trying to help him, which I understand. You're in the dorm with these guys. You're not trying to be involved, blah, blah. By the time he was on his way down to go get a guard, the guard was coming up the boulevard yelling Brother Anthony's name for a visit. He couldn't find him on the yard. He was looking for Brother Anthony. Brother Anthony. And finally, the guard looks down, and we're like, yo, check the fence. The guard walks down, he taps the fence. Brother Anthony falls over. Boom. When Brother Anthony falls over, his whole face is purple. It's over with.